Hello and welcome everyone to my channel, the Garden City Project. My name is Greg Holenstein and I'm a landscape architect. In this episode, I'm going to talk about infrastructure. I'm going to talk about the importance of infrastructure. I'm going to explain you why infrastructure is the lifeline for any civilization. If you grew up in a wealthy country like I did, you are used to a functioning infrastructure. You are used to have clean, fresh water, and you are used to have electricity at any time. But that's not the case for everyone around the world. There are a lot of people all around the world that have no access to drinkable water and have no access to electricity all around the clock. And there are also a lot of countries all around the world where they don't even have functioning streets or functioning rails or stuff like that. So a good infrastructure is not given, even if we are used to it in the wealthy countries. So we have to look what is infrastructure and how do we build and use infrastructure. There are many different kinds of infrastructures, and it's the easiest way to make categories by the purpose we use them. And so the first category of infrastructure is the transportation infrastructure. So it's easy to see, like all the streets and the rail system, so everything that helps us that we come from A to B. Even like walking paths can be seen as transportation infrastructure. The second category, and probably the most important one, is the water infrastructure. And this is the infrastructure that is necessary to supply us with fresh drinkable water. This kind of infrastructure includes all the pipes and all the things that are necessary to provide us with fresh drinkable water. And it includes also the infrastructure that is necessary to provide the agriculture with water that they use for irrigations. This kind of infrastructure is absolutely essential for every village and every city because water is essential for life. The third category is the energy infrastructure, and this is especially about the electricity grid, because electricity is the most important kind of energy we use for our daily life. But it's not exclusively for electricity. It also includes like oil, gas, and hydrogen and other kind of energy that we need for our daily life. This infrastructure includes everything that is necessary to provide us with those kind of different energies. So it's like the grid, it's the pipelines for oil and gas, and it's also the power plants that provide us with electricity. The fourth category is like communication and digitalisation infrastructure. And this infrastructure includes everything that is necessary for our communication. So it's like the telecommunication network, it's all the satellites that are necessary for telecommunication. It's also all the cables in the ground and anywhere that are necessary for the functioning of the internet. And as we look at this category, we will realize very quickly that this kind of infrastructure relies strongly on the energy infrastructure, on another kind of infrastructure. Without electricity, it's not possible that we have internet access. That's obviously, but we have to realize that these two categories are especially connected with each other. The fifth category is the blue and green infrastructure, and this kind of infrastructure is a little bit special because it's not very well known, and it's mainly the natural infrastructure, especially for big concrete cities. Like the green infrastructure especially is the green belt in cities. Like it's all the parks and all the green spaces that are connected inside the city. And of course they're not always connected, they are sometimes very separated, but in the best case they would be connected to form a green belt, also with different kind of trees and stuff like that, not only for humans, for our life quality, but also for like animals like birds and other kind of small animals, that we bring a little bit of biodiversity inside the city. The blue infrastructure includes the natural and artificial waters, like natural and artificial lakes that we have, and also canals and water storage systems, like there are underground water storage systems, and also natural water reservoirs. And this kind of infrastructure, the blue infrastructure, can also be essential for the water supply, because with the blue infrastructure we have it easier to collect rainwater, to reuse rainwater. It helps us also to reuse wastewater. So like you see, this kind of infrastructure is also connected to the water infrastructure, that we have a supply of clean, fresh, drinkable water. Now you might ask yourself, why is infrastructure so important? Why is it the lifeline of a civilization? And yeah, like some things are obviously, like it's obviously that we need clean, fresh, drinkable water. It's obviously we need electricity for our daily life. But some things are not very obviously. For example, that a lot of this kind of infrastructure are connected with each other. For example, if we have a blackout, if the electricity runs out, we could have big problems with water supply, because in many countries they do like desalination, or they do like reuse the wastewater, and that needs a lot of energy. And so it's like essential that all these different kind of infrastructure work together. In the best case, we have like a network of all the different kind of infrastructure that works together perfectly. We have green infrastructure that helps us to clean wastewater. We have artificial lakes to help us to store water, and we have a good functioning transportation system. And we have to keep in mind that if one of those important infrastructure system fails, we can have a bigger problem, because it affects all the other kind of infrastructure, like I told you before. So, in my opinion, it is essential for every city, every civilization, and every country that they have a functioning infrastructure system. Conclusion. In conclusion, we can say that it should be in the interest of every political leader that we invest money in the building and the maintenance of important infrastructures. Infrastructure is not only the lifeline of a civilization, but it's also a main driver of economic growth. Because without infrastructure, we can't have a really good economic growth, because it's essential for everything. If you want to open a business, if you want to do business, you need a functioning infrastructure in your country. If we take a look at poor countries and on rich, wealthy countries, we see there is a main difference in the quality and the amount of infrastructure. And so if we invest in infrastructure in a poor country, if we invest wisely in infrastructure, it's obviously we can't just build massive streets and no one has a car, can afford a car. We have to invest intelligently in infrastructure. But if we do that, if we make water supply for poor people, we can help to improve their lives. Infrastructure is essential for poor countries to get out of poverty. The better the infrastructure is, the better the economic growth can be, and the better the life quality of the people can get. So, what's your opinion about infrastructure? Do you really think that it's that essential as I was telling you in my video? Or do you think there are more important things, especially for poor countries to get out of poverty? So this is the end of my video. If you liked it, press the like button, leave me a comment here, and see you next time. Bye!